friends, this is FirearmPop, and this is another installment in my series of armed citizen stories. And today's stories are coming out of Concealed Carry Association's magazine. It's called Concealed Carry, and they're called True Stories, right there. Okay, here we go. Without further ado, released inmate shot dead during the Redding, California home invasion. 37-year-old Jesse Thies was released early Thursday morning from a Shasta County jail. And before sunup Friday, he invaded a Redding, California home. The 66-year-old female homeowner fired warning shots when she heard someone trying to force entry into the home. When the invader tried a short time later to climb into her window, she shot him dead. Thies had been released due to a county prison policy designed to ease overcrowding by requiring the daily release of those inmates prison officials deem low risk. While police and prosecutors will review the shooting, early indications are that the homeowner will not face any charges. Well, where do I begin to comment on this one? Low risk? Yeah, well, they judged that one absolutely correctly. Yeah, this guy was low risk. The next morning, he attempted this. And, you know, kudos to the 66-year-old lady with a pistol and knew how to use it. Wow. It's just so wrong. Sometimes I think we should hold these officials that deem these inmates to be low risk and release them, and they go out and do something the very next day. We should hold the officials accountable. I just think somebody has to be held accountable. Okay, moving right along. Minneapolis, good neighbor apprehends a robbery suspect. Seeing an armed criminal rob a woman of her purse at gunpoint and pistol whip her to boot, a Minneapolis CCW holder is being hailed as a good Samaritan for following the robber and attempting to capture him. Unfortunately, when the robber would not submit, the confrontation resulted in the citizen having to shoot the robber, who died of his wounds. The shooting is being investigated by Minneapolis authorities. Wow, I got problems with this one too, guys and gals. I mean, he did the right thing. I mean, if I saw an elderly woman being robbed and pistol whipped, tendency would be to at least follow. Get on my phone, dial 911, get the police involved, follow, but not. His life was not in jeopardy. There was no reason for him to use his weapon. It just says, unfortunately, the robber would not submit. Why did he make him submit? I would have just followed him, kept an eye on him, kept radio contact with the police until the police arrived. That would have been the right way to handle that, in my opinion. This is my opinion only, okay? So I can't agree with what this gentleman did. Anyway, moving right on. Armed Naples, Florida clerk foiled robbery kidnapped attempt. A 22-year-old clerk was changing shifts at a family-owned convenience store when an armed man entered and demanded money. He also grabbed a stroller holding one of the clerk's 2 babies and tried to flee with their year-old child. Wow. That cost him his life as the clerk pulled a gun, kept behind the counter for protection, and shot the would-be robber and kidnapper, wounding him and causing him to flee the store empty-handed, tackled outside the store by an arriving employee who saw what had happened. The robber was held for police and later died of his injuries. Yeah, if somebody grabs my 1-year-old child. Based on the story and what we hear, it sounds like the child was in a stroller, so the child wasn't in jeopardy of being shot. So that seems like the right decision to me, at least to be the one I'd make. Beaumont, Texas homeowner fights off young home invaders. 2 Texas youths picked the wrong house to try to invade. Both armed, the 2 forced their way into Beaumont home about 2 a.m. on Sunday morning and demanded money of the owner. While tussling with the armed intruders, the homeowner was able to get his own gun and fatally shot one of his attackers and drove off the second one. The dead robber was found in an adjacent field by responding police. No charges have been filed against the homeowner, who was acting in self-defense. Kudos. Ohio woman shoots paramour. That restraining order failed to stop. An Ohio woman's ex-boyfriend and the father of her 2 children was not deterred by the restraining order requiring him to stay away from the woman and her children. Fearing such would be the case, the woman armed herself with a pistol and was glad she did when the ex-boyfriend broke into the home and assaulted her with a crowbar. Fearing for her life, she shot the intruder, killing him. Police are investigating the incident. Under Ohio's newly adopted Castle Doctrine, there is a presumption of self-defense in circumstances such as these. Well, she's got a lot going for her. One, she had an order of protection. He shows up with a crowbar and starts to assault her? Yeah. Okay. I think that's an open and shut case. And good for her. Okay. Temple University student fights off armed robbers. A 21-year-old Temple student and a friend are accosted by a 15-year-old armed robber and 2 accomplices about 2 a.m. one morning near the university. When the robber fired on the student in the course of the robbery, the student drew his legally carried pistol and returned fire. The student sustained gunshot wounds to the stomach, and the pistol-wielding robber was shot in the chest and leg. Philadelphia police will place felony charges against the robber upon his release from the hospital. Temple University campus police then asked for comment, reported on their efforts to boost campus security, and reminded news reporters that students are not allowed to have guns on campus, including this incident occurred off campus. Well, there's just more reason why law-abiding students in college should be able to carry on campus. This incident happened off campus, and good for him. North Dakota senior citizen stops burglary with gun. Hearing a loud noise and seeing someone in the house about 4 a.m., a woman alerted her sleeping husband, who armed himself with a pistol and went to investigate. Finding a 26-year-old burglar in the home, the 82-year-old husband held him at gunpoint for police to arrive. Both the burglar and the would-be victims were unharmed, and the young criminal faces felony charges for his trouble. Amen. St. Petersburg, Florida man decides to stay armed, then stops mugging. A St. Petersburg man, Raven Smith, and his girlfriend, Ashley Tanner, were leaving his car to enter an Applebee's restaurant. Smith had his .380 pistol in his hand and was considering leaving it in the car when he noticed an armed, ski-masked man running behind his girlfriend in what seemed like an attack. Shouting to his girlfriend to get down, he leveled the pistol at the attacker and felled him with 4 quick shots fired over his crouching girlfriend. All 4 rounds found their mark, and the fallen mugger pleaded for the shooter to stop shooting him. Smith was a CCW and will not face charges. His attacker was not so lucky. He will be charged after his release from the hospital. Well, don't go places that don't allow me to carry for that one reason. You just never know. It's going into a restaurant. I don't know in St. Petersburg, Florida, if restaurant carry is allowed. And that's because if they serve booze, you shouldn't be carrying and drinking. So, but in this case, the man was wise to keep the gun on him and save his girlfriend. So kudos to him too. Well, that's today's true stories, or armed citizen stories. I hope you enjoy them. If you have any comments, please list them below. This is FirearmPop. Be safe out there, and God bless. Bye now.